Congrats!
Congratulations!
Thank you.
So you guys were kind of like the fun story at the presser a little bit, right? With the sort of period of time between nominations.
Yeah, yeah. We won 2 JUNOs back in '97 or '8, and then in '99, and then did a lot of playing for a lot of years, and then took some time off. And this is 20 years later since our first JUNO award-winning record.
And that was your debut, right?
That was our debut,
so
yeah.
'97, you win for your debut.
Yeah.
And now 20 years later, you're winning again. So I think it's like the longest longest stretch. Like, I don't know how many people there are here besides like Raffi's been nominated a lot. Like, it's like you guys and Raffi.
We did a Metalwood Raffi tribute record.
Yeah, and that's
I know you said Metalwood, and I know that's the name of, but I also thought you said a metal Raffi record.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, amazing. It'd be like jazz and heavy metal and Raffi.
It's coming together. It's like some Devin Townsend stuff. That's like really intense. So what do you guys credit? I mean, the interest in particular in this record and the support, and obviously the accolades for this record too.
Well, you know, it's interesting because like we've talked about the time in between the records. This was sort of an idea. We didn't really sort of plot this out. Chris and I were just talking. He had some tracks some unreleased tracks. I said, what do you think about maybe putting it out on Cellar Live, seeing if we can regenerate some interest? So we sort of talked about it. And I was like, well, it doesn't seem to be much point in doing that. Why don't we just make a new record? I said, Brad and I can fly out from Vancouver. We'll meet you in Toronto. We'll make this record, and we'll see how it goes. And the neat thing about it is that I started with this band simply as a fan. I was just a fan of the band. The guys in the band were my friends. And, you know, was a huge fan throughout their whole career, followed their music very closely. Fast forward 20 years, I get in the studio with them as the producer on my record label, and to see these guys come back together and really instantaneously kind of get it back. They had 1 rehearsal, 2 gigs, and it was just like old times, but more mature musically. And I'm not even saying that's necessarily better, but obviously you mature as a musician, you grow, you do different things, and to have them come back and get that Metalwood sound, but bring all of that more life experience and more musical experience was really neat to see, and the interest that it's generated is like really fascinating. Yeah. It's fantastic. And
from a composition point of view, it was really fun to go back and think, okay, we're going to do a Metalwood record. It's been 14 years since our last record, you know, you know, just we're all so close, the band members, and like I said in my acceptance speech, jazz groups don't tend to stick around all that long. It's not, you know, jazz group longevity is not long for this world in a lot of ways. And so it was fun to sort of think about all my band members and write specifically for them, and for a sound that we feel like we developed over a long period of time, you know, over many years, right up until probably 2004 and 5 when the band kind of took a hiatus for a little while. When
you do take a hiatus, do you keep those little moments of, you know, wisdom or idea? Where do you keep them along, or do you put them aside?
Well, I think we all went off and you know, being jazz musicians and being transitory, we all sort of, 2 of the members are Canadian. We're all Canadian, but 2 of us live in New York. So I was busy playing with other people, sideman, running my own projects, and same with all the other 3 guys. And I think that Corey's talk to maturity comes from that going away, but keeping the core group of guys together. Like, it wouldn't be the same with a different person. Like, you can't just get a new drummer,
right?
You know, and so you come back at it years later, and you bring this new experience with you, but you're still the same team. So that's the maturity, I think, that we talked about. You know, and once I started writing, and it just all sort of came out. It was really fun to sort of be back at it and writing for the specific guys. It was really great.
Did it take a shorter amount of time to put together than you thought?
I think so, right? I mean, it was pretty quick. Well, you and I talked, and within a few weeks.
Very quick, yeah. And I mean, it was neat with this particular project because there's kind of a 5th unofficial member of Metalwood, and that's Sean Pierce, who's the engineer behind all of the magic.
Sort of the sound
and so,
of the band.
Yeah, and we put, like, it really was, and because there was a bit of, nervousness isn't the right word, but you never know how it's going to be. I mean, they're all great musicians, but how is it going to be when we get them in the studio after only 2 gigs, and we're going to go into the studio in 1 day, 1.5 days, and make a record.
And all really hard new music.
Yeah, hard new music, and they did that, and the whole team was on board. So we got everybody, like the 5 of them, Metalwood and Sean, and you know, from the second we were in the studio, I think after the first or first 1 or 2 tunes, it was like, okay, this is gonna just go fine, and it did, and it's great.
As a record, we're really proud of. You know, just it's great to come back, and we really looked at it like putting the old team back together. We even got the same guy, Craig Waddell, that mastered it.
Yeah, that's right.
Years and years ago, and I called him up
Yeah.
out of the blue. He's like, I haven't heard from you in 14 years. I'm like, you want to master the new Metalwood record?
That's right.
You know, we
I
really
forgot
we really tried to just recapture that thing with a new energy and a new maturity.
And you obviously did, and congratulations.
Congrats,
Thank you.
guys. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.